Hello and welcome to yet another boss fight guide. This time we have the Maven. The Maven is another one of the bosses we can fight in Path of Exile to obtain shiny new loot, and one of the 4 boss fights that we can fight to get another Voidstone. So she is one of the 4 bosses needed to raise your map atlas to its maximum potential of all maps being tier 16. Now, when it comes to getting Maven and how she works, once you reach maps, in the map device you will have this shiny Maven button in the middle, which is going to have a black circle first around it, and then once you complete maps with Maven on them, there will be the blue marks of how many bosses Maven has witnessed. What does that mean? That means that Maven has seen you fight the boss, she recorded the boss herself, and she will put the boss in an arena where we fight her, which is what you're going to see in a bit. Now, once you defeat the required bosses while Maven has witnessed them, including these ones at the top, which are the 6 special encounters that you can fight, then you will get an invitation. An invitation will appear on Commander Kirak below a moment's respite. It will say a name of the invitation and such, and you can roll these with alchemy orbs, scouring orbs, Val orbs. You cannot roll these with chisels because they're not maps, they're invitations. Once you get in the invitation, you're going to defeat the certain amount of bosses that you have spawned. For the final one, Maven is up to 10, and the other ones have their own names and such. You will drop certain items to help you encounter Maven. Maven is the culmination of all the gathering of the ingredients, which are called splinters. Every map invitation is going to give you a certain amount of splinters. Some give you 2, some give you 3, some give you 1. Usually the bigger ones here give 4 or more, and the 10 invitation gives 1 or more. The drop rate is basically connected to how many mods the invitation actually has. But once you collect all of them, you will get the Maven's Writ. These are all suitably placed in the Fragments tab, General, on the right side. So once you get the Maven's Writ, you can use it in your map device to enter the Maven's area, which is called Absence of Mercy and Empathy. This is how it looks. Now, for that, let's start the boss encounter, boss fight, so that we do not waste any more time on the introduction. When it comes to the fight starts in a very simple manner. You approach Maven. Now this is where the things will become a little bit confusing. Why? There are 2 entities that are the Maven: her human form and her brain form. You will have mechanics from both, not difficult, but they can overlap. This guide is meant to guide you through all of the mechanics that happen, including the fail, which I will mention. There is one fail mechanic that you can do other than dying, and there will sometimes be overlaps, so pay attention, and in different phases I will add the mechanics that are added in the phase as seen in the video versus just going through all of them. So Maven starts basically, when she drops down, she basically starts with her basic attack, which is just like a small projectile. She can also teleport to different places, and that's it. First mechanic, the brain will start doing these projectiles that you can avoid or you can block them whatsoever. It fires them in a cone, as you can see there. Second mechanic, Maven is going to pop these blue balls that are going to rotate clockwise, counterclockwise in the arena, and when you approach them, they are going to explode. After a certain delay in the fight, you will see the mechanic unfurl, she will activate all of them and they will explode. I will post the timestamp as well. So she basically does nothing in the first phase other than basic attack, teleport, and there are these balls. She occasionally may have an additional mechanic, that's where one exploded. She occasionally may have additional mechanic, which is called Cascade of Pain, but otherwise nothing important in the first phase. These are just the repeats, and when she says mine, that's when all the balls become purple and they all go towards you and they explode. Once she gets to 90% life or so, or on a timer, the brain will fire these new mechanics, these 3 balls, which will follow you around the arena and they will leave a dot on the ground. I suggest on Maven fight, place them in the middle, as later on in the stages of the fight, you won't be able to remove them. They are removed when Maven does the intermission fight. Now there is another mechanic, these are going to overlap, which is called a Cascade of Pain. Maven fires, Maven's body follows the player, and she fires projectiles that don't follow the player, they go in a linear way, so you can dodge it by going around in a circular motion, or you can block them. So Cascade of Pain looks like that, those those white orbs that she fires, and you can just go to the one side. Now, I do not suggest jiggling, going left, right, because you can get hit. And that basically is the phase 1 with one added mechanic, which is going to be shown roughly now. There we go. Stand Still. Stand Still is a mechanic where the Maven goes up in the air, you stand wherever you are, and on that location, 2 scratches are basically going to appear. I call them scratches. So those are 3 lines in 2 directions that are going to go and combine, and then they move away. So you will see how they look. Basically, they do a scratch mark after it. After they go, those are lasers, and you just need to sidestep them, and that's it. If you don't sidestep them, they deal damage, they can be blocked up. And in regards to phase 1 mechanics, there is also an overlap here with Cascade of Pain and the brain that does these lightning balls in a semi-circle motion. You can just avoid these are very, very easily avoidable. Their damage can also be blocked. Now, when you defeat the Maven, she just does the repeat of mechanics. When you defeat the Maven in the first phase, you will see the brain coming into the center of the arena, and these floating pads on the side, there are 2 or 3 on the arena, are going to open, and the brain is going to do a big AoE explosion that's going to be marked by these blue lines. That's basically a whole circle line, and you just need to walk over to the extra area that's opened, and the arena is going to clear itself off basically from all the debris that is left over. If you, however, do not move from these things, the game will automatically bring you in. There is one additional thing with the brain. Pay attention to this. This is very important. The brain is going to put like these 2 little discs. You can see a shadow here. 2 little discs on the opposite sides of the arena, and that is going to make a beam, which if you touch, applies a debuff where you cannot regen any form of life event or energy shield for 10 seconds. Now, once the mechanic starts, once the intermission mechanic starts, the Maven is going to spawn the bosses that you have witnessed. Or if you haven't witnessed any of the 10 bosses, the Maven is going to randomly spawn up to a certain amount of bosses. I think it's like 2, 3, 4 per intermission phase that you can fight off, or you can just DPS the brain. So when you like fight the boss, there are, keep in mind, these are all boss mechanics that chevron, so those are going to interfere with you defeating the nucleus of the Maven. The nucleus itself does not have any mechanics other than rotating beam. Once you get the nucleus down to 75% roughly, if I'm not mistaken, the nucleus will go up again, Maven will come in, say I will have what I want, and then the new mechanic will begin. This is usually where people have a bit of a problem, and that is death will not be an escape, which is a puzzle to remember the location. The Maven will split the arena into 3 pizza shapes. We call these top, left, and right, so it's easier to remember. The first puzzle mechanic will have you guess 3 of those locations, which will be shown now. Right, top, right. So what you need to do here, when she says scurry, scurry, she will pop from her middle location and expanding throughout the circle, she will pop a death zone. Please don't enter it. When it comes to what you need to do here, you need to start by staying in the pizza shape that had the first repeat, and then you do the next one, top, and then right side again. Then she will repeat, once you're done with that, then she will repeat the mechanics, all of these you've seen, with an additional one. Death Made Real is the Maven Brain mechanic, which is a laser that is basically meant to one-shot anything that stands in, and that's it. Very easily avoidable, very easily dodgeable. So that's one of the additional mechanics that Maven has added in the boss fight. Now she will of course do more repeats, more of the puddles, more Death Made Real basically, and that's it. She will then, after a certain amount of time, repeat Death Will Not Be an Escape, which now won't have 3 to guess, but it will have more. So the more you go into the Maven boss fight, the more and longer, up to I think 6, the puzzle is going to be. The Maven guessing game. So starts top, right, top, left, top. So what you need to do is stand there, top, right, top, left, top. That's basically it. Now, another thing that you've seen, once again, just a reminder, mine, she will do all the balls, she will, like, they will activate, and that's it. Everything else is the same. So we've got some simple additions to the mechanics. This is now going to be Intermission 2. Same thing. The Maven Brain is going to do its thing. This is where I intentionally left out and let it go through, so I can show you these discs that are going to pop, and you get moved in the arena. Same thing happens with the Maven Brain. This time it starts with 75% HP. You need to get it down to 50, and that's when the intermission phase will end. Around 50, 45, 45, 40, 25, 25. So you need to damage it 50% of its life. I never pay attention to it. I'm really sorry. Once she pops, she will do her regular mechanics, and she will add a mechanic as well. You've seen Death Will Not Be an Escape. This is another mechanic that she will add. 1 second, let's let this play out. What happens, I forgot to mention, what happens if you fail this one? If you don't remember where the pizza part is, it will be red and the middle circle is going to expand. Now, how do you stop this from happening? Once it expands fully, it will explode. One shot. What happens if you fail it and you want to repeat it or maybe make it better? You just need to rush to the green one, and then it's going to slow down but it's still going to expand. So what I would suggest is either log out if you don't want to die and lose experience, or just die like a real man and then come back in the boss fight arena. Of course, that was a joke. Death is imminent here because that's meant to one-shot basically anyone. After that one, we will see a mechanic called Do What I Say. Do What I Say is basically a mechanic where she makes a circle and then kaboom, she launches a meteor. Very, very simple new mechanic that she adds. Occasionally, she adds one more mechanic. I haven't seen it in most of these, but that mechanic we will see in the third phase. This is phase 2. She will just continue repeating these mechanics. There's nothing that she adds in here that is dangerous at any way, shape, or form, other than what you already know from the phases. Now, again, once you defeat Maven, this time around, when the nucleus comes in, and when you clean the nucleus of the Maven, there we go, 1 second. When you clean the nucleus of the Maven, what will happen is the puddles will remain. So keep in mind, once you defeat the nucleus 2 times, and once Maven gets into her phase, her regular phase, the puddles will stay on the ground. Once you defeat the nucleus and the nucleus falls dead, the Maven will pop in, and the new mechanic starts here throughout the ending of the fight. This is the last phase, her last ditch effort to kill the player. And what we have here, we have these lasers. If you touch these lasers, you will have this debuff that prevents you from regenerating life. These lasers will move up and down, and you will have open areas. While she does that, as I said, she will have overlap of mechanics. The first one, death will not be an escape, so you have to navigate her maze. I will let it play out once again. You will have to navigate her puzzle to get basically through it safely as possible. You can, however, run through the lasers, but I do not suggest if you don't want to lose your regen. Now, Maven continues to do the same mechanics that she did throughout the fight. She will add an additional mechanic, but when it comes to everything else, the only things that she loses are the mechanics from the brain. Now, there we go. Okay, so this now, after here, she's going to teleport, and you're going to see a mechanic called Take This. She puts a sun, and she aims it towards us. There are 2 ways how you can dodge this mechanic. Number 1, stay away from her when she launches the sun, sidestep before it explodes. If it touches you, it explodes. It can be blocked. Number 2, if you stand on her model itself or herself, the sun will never touch you. So you have 2 ways of dodging the mechanic. 1, stand on her model, directly on her model, and the sun will never touch you, or dodge away, or be a Chad and block it. That's basically it for the Maven boss fight. She will just repeat the mechanics until she is defeated. Once she is defeated, she will basically do a screech, sort of, and the envoy will appear, and the loot will appear as well. She has her unique loot that she drops, but that one you can read on the PoE wiki, which I will link down in the description below. But this will be it for the entire breakdown. She also drops, I think it's Ceremonial Watchstone. Yes, Ceremonial Watchstone that you can add to your map device, as I've said in the beginning of the video. But that is a complete breakdown. It's a bit of a longer fight depending on whether or not you have a lot or less DPS. I would recommend, again, with the other ones as well, around 4 to 600k DPS if you know the mechanics, but it can be done on a 4-link. It's way easier on a 5-link though. I would of course suggest a 6-link as well, but this breakdown covers it all. It's not a difficult fight. I will also link this build that I've used in the description below, just so you know, it's one of my own creations. But yes, if you have any questions, feel free to post them down in the description below. The website will also be linked in the description where you can access this info too. It's going to link to this video. You can also get access to the rest of these. I will do written guides in due time. It does take time to make these, but thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, give it a like, sub if you don't mind, and I will see you in another PoE guide or video. So have a good one.